Hello everybody, Happy Canuck Reviews back at you with another video. Today, I have a US MRE. I have menu number 6, beef taco filling. Alright, let's crack into this and see what we've got. So, of course, to start, we have the main entree, the beef taco filling, some Santa Fe rice and beans, cheese spread, some whole grain tortillas, some nut raisin mix with pan-coated chocolate discs. There's all your info on the back. Quite a big wrapper for the accessory packet. Usually it's about this big. So we got our creamer non-dairy, a Bill's Brew, moist towelette, the toilet paper, some Splenda and some sugar, a tiny little packet of iodized salt, some gum, a spoon, flameless ration heater, a beverage bag, and your sleeve. There's all the extra info if you'd like to read it. Alright, I'm going to get all this sorted out, and I'll be right back. I'm just going to get started by heating up the beans and the filling. Alright, so we'll put this in here. Woo, that worked right away. And let's shove the beans in too. And I got my trusty duck here for the or something. So, seeing as how that's pretty cramped in there already, I'm not going to bother heating up these tortillas. Probably going to end up regretting that later on, but that's already pretty overloaded with the rice and with the filling. I'd rather have those hot and these tear. So, same with the cheese. I'm not going to bother heating that up this time. Don't want to keep shoving more things into the little heater, especially considering it worked right away. Awesome. I usually run into issues with them where they don't like to heat up properly for me. So, let's take a look at the other component here, which is that nut raisin mix. Looks pretty good. Looks like there's M&Ms in there. The raisins, of course, various nuts, and of course, a little do not eat packet. Keep it dry. Alright, now let's put together our Bill's Brew. I'm going to add the sugar, but I am not going to bother adding that little Splenda. Just where I'm not a big Splenda fan. I don't really like aspartame. It leaves an awful taste in my mouth. And you got some nice big crystals in there. I'm a big fan of Bill's Brew. I've had it before many times. It's such a nice smooth cup of coffee. It's not very acidic, not bitter. Just nice and smooth. It smells delicious too. Gonna add some of this creamer in, not all of it. I don't like my coffee super milky. That's probably good. I used about half of it. Oh. Nice. Very nice. Not a great pouring, only good for sipping. Learned my lesson. Don't ever use this again. Lovely. Got some nice wet nuts now. Let's use up some of this to dry that up. I don't usually open these up for the videos. But I guess if you're interested, it's just it's a one-ply TP basically. But hey, one ply is better than no plies. Anywho, let's give that a sip. And as usual, Bill's Brew, delicious cup of coffee. And let's give this a try. It's a little damp now, but that's on me. Yeah, outside of that candy shell melting a bit due to my mistake there, totally fine still. Delicious. The raisins I was kind of expecting to be a bit dry, but they're actually pretty soft still. Alright, let's take a look at these tortillas. Usually they're just white tortillas. I don't think I've ever had the whole grain ones before. Looking pretty good. Certainly smells like whole wheat. And you know what? They're significantly more flexible than the usual ones. They're, probably still going to tear down the center when I try to fold anything. But usually the white ones will stick together and just they don't like being taken apart or anything like that. So already off to a great start with these. And I'll do a little knead on this for the tacos. Alright, I'll be back in a few minutes when that's done heating up. Alright, and I am back. So I have the beef taco, which we'll open up first. I already kneaded them all up to ensure that the temperature is uniform throughout. Let's open it up and take a look. Looks like Sloppy Joe filling. Let's take that and put that there. Looks pretty good. Smells like old El Paso. And we have the Santa Fe rice and beans. Looks interesting. All right, looking pretty good. It smells really good, nice and flavorful. It smells a bit spicy, not horrendously by any means, but see, you got the nice bean on there and rice. Looks good. Very creamy. And yeah, you do get the smell of spice to it, but it is certainly not spicy. It looks like an olive. Yeah, these are all right. They're pretty middle of the road. They're fine. They're not great. They're not amazing. But they're not bad. They're certainly edible. Looking at those ingredients, there's quite a bit in here. I do see the green chilies, but you really do not get any heat at all. I see where they put the, non-fat dry milk in there. And sweet cream powder. There is cheddar cheese in here. There's a lot going on. Not executed great, unfortunately. Oh well. Let's give the shredded beef a try. Or taco filling, my apologies. Pretty uniform. Uniform in color, just nice ground up beef. So that's where all the spices, in here. There are the chilies in here, but this is where all the spice lies. And again, looking at those ingredients, it just says spices. There's not a lot of, there is chili pepper, but that's about it. Interesting. Pretty good. All right. So let's try and make a little taco. I'm not going to fold it, just going to eat it like that, like a normal taco. I already broke the cheese spread open. Let's add some of the rice and beans down first. Now, I know there's already cheddar in that, but there's really nowhere else to use that tube of cheddar. And I thought it would go on here pretty good. There you go. That's a pretty hefty taco. Let's give that a try. And yeah, as to be expected. It goes together really well. You got the beans, the beef, the cheese. Delicious. Overall, the components themselves individually, they're a little bit underwhelming. They're good, not great. but together, they are really good. I quite like it. Not ever going to be on my top 10 by any means, but still, really good. And again, as this meal doesn't come with like a cold drink, I do just have my water here. I understand now why this little salt packet's so small. You really don't need it. This and this, plenty salty already. And I do find this salt a little interesting, I want to point out. It's not just straight iodized salt. You got salt, no, dextrose, potassium, well, the potassium iodide, usual iodized table salt. But I don't normally see the sodium silicone, whatever, mixed in here. That's interesting. I'm curious how this will taste without the cheese put on. Will it be as good? Probably. Bon appetit. Yeah, as to be expected. You know, it's the same components. It's still pretty good. Let's make a regular taco. Well, there we go. Another big hefty taco. Try and eat this without making a mess. I'll say this is some very, very good trail mix. I don't think I just mentioned at the start how nice this is. Variety in here is great. It's not just the straight peanuts and almonds. There's walnuts in there too. It's just so nice and fresh. I will say, this was packed in January 2022. Probably why this is so good right now. I find after a couple of years it kind of dries out and loses a bit of its taste. But this is really good. All right. Well, not last but not least, let's look at this moist towelette and gum. Just a standard moist towelette, nothing special about it. These are in all of the US MREs. They're good quality though. Nice and moist, as you would expect, but I have come across some that are not... they're a little dry, to say the least. Dang, having a hard time getting that apart, but yeah. Not strong, but they're nice for just, you know, cleaning your hands up, and especially if you're messy like I am, getting everything everywhere. But yeah, just a normal little towelette you get at a restaurant. Smells of not a whole lot of anything, some detergent a little bit, but that's about it. As for this gum, I expect it to be peppermint, but let's find out. Nice peppermint. Nice, very soft piece of gum. Normally they have a bit of a crunch to them, a bit of a bite, but these, you'd swear they just rolled off the factory line. All right, everybody. Well, if you stuck around this long, thanks for staying with me. I appreciate it. Some final thoughts on this MRE. It's quite good. As I said, not the biggest fan of those Santa Fe rice and beans. They were a bit bland for my liking. Not a lot of heat to them, but at least there was a decent amount of heat in the filling itself. Which is why I'm going to say didn't really need jalapeno cheddar. I usually harp on that on most of them. Wish it was a jalapeno. I'm going to say here, I'm kind of glad it wasn't. I think it might have been a bit too much if that would have been the case. Yeah, and that was nice and fresh. Very good. Apologies again for spilling that hot water on it. Last time I used that thermos. And Bill's brew. Bill, he knows what he's doing. All right. And thanks again for sticking with me. I appreciate it. Once this video goes live, I'll have a new poll posted. You can vote on what ration I'm going to try next. Some of interesting options include a United Nations Peacekeeper ration. I also have that Russian aircrew ration, and a few other little things. But you'll see when the poll gets posted. All right, everybody. Hope you have a great week. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.